What will happen if you remove the turret with a powerful cannon from the Panther tank and insert instead of it two 37mm autocannon Flak 341? You will get a heavy anti-aircraft self-propelled Flakpanzer 341. Let's analyze why the Germans decided to start the development of such a concept. By the end of the war, the Germans had lost their air superiority. Allied aircraft began to dominate from all fronts. The Germans already had anti-aircraft guns based on the Panzer IV tank chassis, such as the Möbelwagen, Wirbelwind, and Ostwind. They were effective against aircraft, but all of them had one big disadvantage. It was an open compartment. High explosive shells could kill the entire crew. The anti-aircraft gunners wrote reports that the soldiers were psychologically scared to be in the open turret. Therefore, towards the end of the war, German engineers started to design a closed type of turret. Daimler-Benz received an order for a new turret. The Panther tank of the D modification was chosen for the new turret, and engineers from Daimler-Benz made the main weapon for aviation 20mm MG 150-120 guns. These guns had an elevation angle from -5 to +75. The total rate of fire was from 1680 to 1920 rounds per minute. The shells of these guns had a muzzle velocity of 900 meters per second and an effective altitude of up to 3,700 meters. From the beginning of 1944, serial production of the machine began, and it was named Flakpanzer V 20mm. However, serial production lasted for a relatively short period of time and stopped in March 1944. Only 7 of them were built. This was primarily due to the shortage of cannons, which were catastrophically needed for airplanes. Rheinmetall-Borsig also worked on a new anti-aircraft turret, utilizing the well-proven and effective 37mm Flak 43 autocannon. This same autocannon had already been mounted on the Möbelwagen and Ostwind. This cannon was a modernization of the 37mm Flak 18 anti-aircraft gun. The Flak 43 featured a fundamentally new automation system, in which some operations were performed using the energy of discharged gases, and others using the energy of recoiling parts. This resulted in an increased rate of fire for the gun, which in turn required an increase in magazine capacity from 6 to 8 rounds. The Flak 43 used high-explosive tracer rounds. It weighed 620 grams. In this photo, you can see how it differs from other projectiles. The 37mm Flak 43 fired at a rate of 250 rounds per minute. It had an initial muzzle velocity of 820 meters per second and an effective altitude of up to 4,800 meters. The turret with Flak 43 could fire at angles of -5 to +90 degrees. The design of the turret had a frontal armor thickness of 60mm. The estimated combat weight was about 40 tons. The average weight of the Panther tank is 45 tons. Thanks to the 700 horsepower Maybach engine, the mobility of the Flakpanzer 341 would most likely be better than that of a regular Panther tank. But it is worth considering that the Flakpanzer 341 gets all the disadvantages of transmission and other issues of the Panther tank. Even though the project seemed very interesting, it could not be implemented. One mock-up was built on which we can see what the Flakpanzer 341 could be. It was already at the approval stage, but the Panther tank was a priority and it was urgently needed on all fronts. Allied aviation was destroying German industry. Because of this, many developments have been suspended. The Flakpanzer 341 makes good impressions, and the Germans had big plans for them, given how well the Möbelwagen and Ostwind showed themselves. But if we objectively evaluate the Flakpanzer 341, it has all the problems of the Panther. Panther was often broken, and it took a long time to repair it. There are a lot of reports from Panther crews from all fronts that the tank is constantly stuck. The dimensions of the Flakpanzer 341 are large, which is not suitable for the anti-aircraft tank. You may not agree with my point of view. If you think otherwise, be sure to write a comment. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, you can buy coffee, link in the description. Have a nice day.